In this new edition of the IoT Radar, I'm meeting up with Shahram Mossayebi. He is from Crypto Quantique, the CEO and founder. And in the name of the company, Crypto Quantique, you already hear what the subject of this conversation will be. We're going to talk about security and more specific IoT security. Good morning, Shahram. Good to see you.
Shahram, the subject of our conversation will be enterprise and IoT security. And I've been reading your article. You say there's a big difference between what we're doing on enterprise security and what we're seeing on IoT security. Explain, what is this big difference?
Of course. So traditionally, enterprise security meant securing the network and premises and the assets within those premises or networks for an enterprise. With IoT coming to the picture and the fact that they are capable of communicating with other services that are usually outside of the enterprise premise or network, kind of create this challenge of how we'll protect the enterprise network from those connections, etc. So IoT security basically shifting the paradigm of security from thinking and securing network for the enterprise to focusing on individual devices as the IoT device and thinking about device security. Of those devices. So that's
you mentioned in your article there are blind spots, things we just do not see. What in your opinion are the blind spots? If you just look through the whole chain of IoT with the services and the cloud solutions and the hardware and the software on the edge, where are the blind spots if you're talking about security?
There are a couple of things before even getting into the kind of technical aspect of the security bit. I guess from kind of risk management and management point of view, in past couple of years when we spoke with customers and industry leaders, the first thing was big thing that came up was this difference between or confusion in we have network security, so everything should be fine. When it comes to our connected devices or the IoT. So that's kind of the first thing that they don't really realize, that device security has so much baggage behind it that you cannot just secure your network if you have, I don't know, firewall and intrusion detection and things like this. Mm-hmm. So that was the first thing that we came up. The second thing is what is the IoT? Because IoT is incredibly broad field. I mean, any connected device can be considered as IoT. So for enterprise, the challenge is what they will categorize as IoT in their network, in their enterprise, how they discover them, how they segment them and things like this. So that's another kind of challenge when it comes to IoT security. Yeah. But then the third one, once you identify, okay, you have a connected device, you need to look at device security, then that's the main challenge from security point of view. How will you secure that connected device? Yeah. And the details is basically you need to start from the very beginning of how the journey starts for a connected device, and that is semiconductor companies, silicon vendors who are supplying the secure MCUs or CPUs that eventually will go on a board. So that's how the whole journey starts. So you need to think way in advance, go pretty much to the root of how everything starts for a connected device to think about security.
Yeah. So you're basically saying, because there are also, solutions which are pretty much software based, but you're actually focusing more on hardware solutions for your IoT security.
No, this is another misunderstanding in the ecosystem. It's great that you brought it up. So IoT security is not a software solution, is not a hardware solution, it's a joint solution. There needs to be a bridge between the hardware and software. But the kind of on the enterprise side, the mistake usually is because they're familiar with the software bit and it's easier to run and manage application and things like this. They're kind of missing the point of the actual hardware security element that needs to be inside the device at first place to run those security applications on top of it. And then from the industry side, from the semiconductor side, they're usually very unfamiliar with this software side of things. So they're just providing the pieces of the hardware that allows you to run cryptography securely in your device. but they don't know or they cannot really help you about how, as an end user, you can easily integrate the cryptography on that hardware inside the device. So there is a disjoint between semiconductor and kind of supply chain industry on the hardware side and the enterprise cloud software side of things, and there needs to be a bridge in the middle, and that's what basically we're trying to do in Crypto Quantique.
Yeah. So what is your solution? If you can explain it. What does this bridge look like?
Yes. So what we call the bridge queue architecture, and it basically relies on two main components. The first component at the hardware level is a hardware root of trust. So basically, we have this IP, we call it QDID, which utilizes quantum tunneling inside silicon in order to generate multiple unforgeable identities or cryptographic keys inside the device without anyone knowing those keys or without anyone requiring to inject any secrets or anything to the device. So potentially, from an OEM perspective, you don't need to trust anyone on the supply chain, including the semiconductor company, in order to be able to generate cryptographic keys or identities for your devices. That then allows you at the software level, which we have QuarkLink, is an enterprise cloud security software, to generate your own public key infrastructure based on the kind of network architecture that you have and type of devices that you have, and then manage the identities of those devices, and on the way, security of your firmware inside the devices, onboarding them to different services such as AWS or Azure or any other services that you use securely without sharing any secret with any party on the supply chain or the cloud layer. So it kind of gives you, as an OEM, the full control and privacy of your data to protect your devices and yourself from anybody else in the ecosystem that needs to be there to help you to get the device together and connect it to the cloud. Yes. So that's what basically we build.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are looking at ad solutions, and the ad solutions are becoming more and more intelligent, more and more data analysis is actually happening at the edge. There were clever pieces of hardware and sensors, etc. Will that also change the way we're looking at security? How is that evolving in your opinion?
So what we've built is a foundational layer, like the first layer of security that required to be inside the device, and those people can benefit from it. But what you just mentioned is a great example of how security can be an enabler for industry to pick up and do new things that economically they will benefit from massively. So for those AI companies who would like to run AI and ML algorithms at the edge, the biggest challenge is they have proprietary algorithms, they have proprietary configuration to their algorithms that they need to make sure no one can steal. And that's where, if you have a solid security like what we provide in place, that software company could encrypt and sign their firmwares. Only the specific devices can detect authenticity of that device and decrypt it and run the firmware on the edge without anyone in the middle being able to basically understand how the firmware will work. So one of the arguments that we had always is industry need to start looking at security as an enabler, not just, oh, this is complex and I need to do it because of, I don't know, regulations and things like this. Security can provide many benefits if it's there for new type of industry and application to fly.
Yeah.
And
thank you very much for your explanation. I realize I have many blind spots. And thank you very much for helping me, getting a clear view on what we're having on IoT security. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.